It's hard to keep a secret user account on internet.
Hey Ganesh, I heard you had a story about some secret accounts on some Zyxel devices.
Thanks, Manish. Yes, this is the story came out from maybe almost like 6 weeks now. Sometime, I think November 29th or something, one of the researchers from ICE security company, which is based in Netherlands, he was doing some research and he found in one of the devices like a secret backdoor. And this is not documented anywhere. But while he was going through the binaries, he could able to see the hashes for the password with the admin account. So as a responsible security researcher, this person basically reached out to the Zyxel and told about this specific vulnerability and this password. And I think within few weeks, they kind of released a patch. Once this patch has been released, he did actually publish a blog about it, how he have found it, what kind of devices are vulnerable, stuff like that. But this has been given CVE 2020-29583 with about CVE score of 7.8 on a scale of 10 being the highest. Only the versions up to 4.6 and below are vulnerable to this specific secret account. What these Zyxel have, the Zyxels have, they're like a small to medium range like device providers. So like they have various VPN firewall products, access points, and kind of routers. These are the devices they kind of manufacture. What is the name of the account? I think since it's been published everywhere, maybe this is better to know what is the name of the account. It's basically ZYFWP. I think it stands for Zyxel password, firewall password, or something like that. But the most intriguing part is I think the whole password is stored plain text, and actually it is not changeable also. Even if somebody found it, for example, the researcher wants to change the password, he could not able to change it. I think it's plain text and unchangeable. It's actually disaster for recipe,
Do you know what was the intended purpose of this account and password?
I think the reason they put this password, the secret password, is for the convenience in the sense, fast automatic firmware updates to all the connected devices. So I think whenever they want to roll any update, I think it would be much, much faster. In that sense, it makes sense.
Sure.
But in the security perspective, having some secret backdoor that too in plain text is not a good security posture. I think that's what happened in this case. Because it's a backdoor password and it has the capability to update the firmware, it has the super user privileges, right? Like admin level privileges. So if somebody found it, if they have owned the device, I think pretty much they can own anything under that network range, basically. And also the other point of it is if because somebody has this admin password, if they combine with some sort of super vulnerabilities like zero login or something, the threat risk factor has been basically multiplied. I think that's a big takeaway in this case. I think if anybody is running these Zyxel products, the patches are available except for access points, which patch will be released soon in April. But for the rest of the product lineup, they have patches available. I think whoever the customers needs to go and apply the patches as soon as possible. And actually on the website, they have the vulnerable various products and devices which are vulnerable, and which version they have a good web table form which can be referred by the customers to see if they have any vulnerable devices or maybe patches in their environment.
Yes, I'm assuming with the admin privileges, the account could also create, additional VPN accounts. So then, if you're a small to medium-sized business, you have a lot to lose here, right? Because a malicious actor could come in there, create additional VPN accounts. The bad actor could come in and VPN to your network and just kind of root around your, your entire, your operations there and take whatever they want. Yeah, it's pretty serious.
I mean, yeah, that's a pretty serious threat interface. Basically, they can expose to a lot more vulnerabilities and exposure. And also maybe they can create another secret backdoor, right?
That's generally one of the first steps when you get access to, right? Ensure that you maintain that access through.
Get back in, yeah.
Yeah, it's so you can get back in. So these devices, they're not primarily in the U.S., right, Ganesh? Or they're not primarily in North America?
I think they're not that popular, but they're heavily concentrated, I believe, in Asia Pac and some parts of Eastern European, but it doesn't mean they will be available, not available in North America.
I did a quick search and they seem to be available here. Again, they're probably not overly used here, but they are available. And if you're not fully aware of what's going on, it could cause some serious issues with your company.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might save a few bucks trying to get the Zyxel product over a competitor that's well known and established. But that few dollars you save might end up costing you a lot.
I find it a little interesting. A lot of security vulnerabilities pop up because of, users want ease of access. They want things to be easy.
Right.
They don't want to go through the steps of making sure that something's secure. And this is another case where the developers were like, listen, we want to be able to update these things over the air without any issues. We'll just put into this account and we'll just hard code some credentials so we could just update it over the air. That's very convenient. That's a very convenient way to do to do exactly that. But it's also incredibly insecure because the second a security researcher finds it, obviously it becomes a problem. But even worse, the second a black hat finds it and doesn't report it, well, now, hey, check out this access I have to all of these different, firewalls and VPNs and stuff. And the other aspect of this is, when a patch comes out, obviously the advice is you should patch immediately to get that account taken care of. But the concern for me, at least, is, there's a lot of companies, small or otherwise, that maybe they're not super in tune with patching their software, patching their machines. A lot of companies, they'll outsource that. They'll hire a company to come in and install some stuff, install my VPN stuff and install my FTP stuff and just make sure it works. Are those companies going to be reaching out to their clients and saying, hey, look, you have X and Y products that have X and Y patches. We need to do that. Can we schedule some time? And obviously with coronavirus, that actually makes it even harder because on-prem now becomes a little more complex, a little more complicated. So it's tough. I mean, the problem goes beyond just patch and you'll be fine. Well, in an ideal world, that would be just fine.
And also, there's probably a cost related to it if you're relying on a third party to do these updates for you, right? And not everyone would want to spend that money, especially now if during these times if your business isn't doing well. But if you're using this to provide VPN solution for your employees, it's pretty critical. Because you need to maintain that access for your employees, but also ensure you're not getting compromised. So kind of up in the air. And I imagine that there's probably some smaller, medium-sized business owners that they're not fully aware of, these types of issues. They may even think that your vendor is trying to, charge them for something that they don't really need, because they're just not aware, and it's unfortunate.
Right.
So hopefully, like you mentioned, the ideal solution is to make it convenient to auto update, but you lose the security there. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah. And not everyone's forte is security. You can't possibly expect everyone to understand the weight of an access control issue like this one is. So, I can say internet facing to you, and maybe you don't care about that, but to a security person, it's like,
of course it's internet. Like, my business is online, of course. That's what they're thinking to themselves.
Right.
So that's unfortunate, but that's the way it is.
And also to add that in current scenario, I mean, now everybody needs to work via VPN, and maybe these products have much demand, and probably people will be buying without looking into the security postures. They need
Yep.
some device to get it connected to VPN somehow. And also, I think it would be like a chicken and egg kind of situation here. I believe the onus is on everybody here. I think small to medium to high. I think in the cases we are seeing, even the supply chain, even if some companies has a better security posture, it doesn't mean they are vulnerable. It needs to be,
Sure.
who they're doing business with as also be compliant with some at certain
Right.
degree. Hopefully,
Right.
hopefully
What-
things will be moving in the direction. As a security
Right.
professional, I would like to see that.
I think one of the things that we talk about all the time is to having that layered approach to security, right? So even if there is this vulnerability or hard-coded, easy to guess probably password and credentials, if you have some sort of other monitoring in place that maybe detecting, a new VPN admin, a new admin account was created, or a new VPN credentials were created, or whatever the case is, having that kind of monitoring in place and alerting in place would also, kind of help mitigate some of these, or at least detect them early on. These types of attacks.